right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. And thankfully, now that it's late September, cicadas should not be an issue with me being outside. Can you hear some crickets, though?
Every once in a while, maybe maybe a stray neighborhood kid or something like that, but that's about it. Not too
Okay.
bad.
I think I hear one on a tumbleweed.
But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight we've got some celebrating to do. Since our last episode, Stephen has gotten married, and he is back from his honeymoon. And we are going to be drinking together. We're going to be drinking something that we're all pretty excited to try. I think we're going to be drinking some Daviess County toasted barrel. And I can tell you, just because the sticker's on there, I paid $59 for it. And because there's a sticker that tells me that I happen to buy it at Dean's in Collinsville, Illinois, comes in at 96 proof. It's just like their normal standard Daviess County, except for that this goes into a toasted barrel afterwards. And it even tells you that this one came out of a lightly toasted barrel. They do have some that come out of medium toasted and some that come out of heavy toasted barrels. But I want to know, Stephen, what do you think of that label?
The label is so I've rated Daviess County in the past. I forget which one we had offhand.
The double barreled.
Yeah, which I liked the color on the outside of that one a little bit better. But I mean, I appreciate that they're different because it's a different whiskey. So I'm not going to like really hold that against it. So I didn't go back and look at what that ever that was, but copy and paste that score here. I'll edit it in. I give it a
4 to 6, depending on the color.
Right there. But so I don't really remember. But I'm
You know what you should do? You should go through and say, I give it a 6. I give it a 7. I give it an 8. Go through
just
all
use
of the
that
numbers
cut.
and then cut what you want and put it in.
But it's funny because I'll have to do like, I think it's pretty good. I give it a 1. But yeah, I think it looks good. It looks kind of I would say my least favorite part about it is the bottle shape. And it's not because I don't like the bottle shape. It's just because it's just, to me, not a stand-up bottle shape. I wish it had a little something different. It kind of is like Old Forester bottle shape or something. It's not like, it doesn't wow me. I think that for the longest time, I never picked up this bottle or paid attention to Daviess County because it just did not stand out on the shelf for me. And I think a lot of that is the bottle shape, honestly, which it just is what it is. It's not that common that you get a weird bottle or whatever, but I think it looks decent. I give it a
4 to 6, depending on the color.
All right. I'm going to put this down, but Ryan, what do you think of the bottle?
I also give it a you have to edit like a really shitty
the N-word.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, simple, standard. I feel like that's that bottle shape when you go, oh, I'm making a whiskey. Hey, glass manufacturer, send me a bottle that looks like whiskey would go into it. And that's the standard bottle. So the label are cool, but yeah, standard bottles, little plainish, but not bad. I think the colors go well together.
We should,
and it kind of matches the gold on it, matches the UGG tracksuit.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, Dan. I want to hear what you had to say, but I just want to also say that I accidentally instinctively drank some a minute ago, so we should all drink it.
So, what I wanted to say was pretty quick, and that was just about what Ryan said as far as like they called the glass manufacturer and said, give me a bottle that looks like a whiskey bottle. And what I want to say is that this is one of the bottles that started the trend of whiskey bottles looking like this, right? Like this bottle has been this shape and this style as long as I can remember, right? Like a really long time. So other people might have called the glass manufacturer and said, I want a bottle that looks like a whiskey bottle. And they said, well, let's look at what the Daviess County bottle looks like. And that's the one that's how old this bottle has been in this shape, I think.
I knew you were going to say something like that as soon as I was like, yeah, it's a generic bottle. You were going to be like, well, actually, this bottle shape.
It's old. It's really
fucking Taylor did it himself.
But you're right. It does look a lot like Old Forester. And Old Forester is like the first bottled bourbon. So
Yeah. Old Forester looks a little like kind of shorter and stumpier. That one
little
looks
bit, yeah.
taller. Yeah.
little bit more like fluted at the bottom too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's catch up with Stephen, and because I've never had this before. Stephen can't say that anymore, but Ryan's never had it before. So
Nice
let's
glass,
get
Neither
into it.
Ryan.
neither is Dustin Diamond, and he won't because he's dead.
That's a good point. Good point, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Blamed Motel 6s, by the way.
And smoking in comedy clubs.
Yeah.
And karma.
I think
It's
you're gonna
gotta-
say and cancer, which I was like, I think
And
that was
cancer.
the biggest part.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he could have accurately blamed.
Yeah. Green
this-
apple.
Green apple, caramel, lots of ethanol. That's what I get. Those three.
Same here. Just standard.
Mm.
I mean, that's kind of OG classic whiskey notes there.
I
But-
wonder if you guys will see any of that caramel apple on the palate.
It's like a Lucille Blue wink right there, dude.
But I do want to say that, like, I didn't expect there to be this much ethanol on the nose, considering it's 96 proof. That surprises me a little bit.
Maybe it's the ethanol, but I get a little mint leaf in there too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's actually wow, Ryan. I'm not used to actual insightful things coming from you, but yeah.
All right, I'll shut up.
All right. Cheers.
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 Except for you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kidding.
If you can't cheers after you're a few drinks in, you should have never cheersed me ever.
It's way
Should help
lighter
it.
than I expected.
This should help with my diarrhea.
It's way lighter than I expected.
I thought the initial sip, I mean, I kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit.
I don't mean that. I
Oh.
mean like the viscosity.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Texture wise, it's like every sip you take, it feels like from the mouthfeel, it's probably like 30% whiskey and 70% water.
Yeah. Very much so. The flavors are there. I'm getting a lot of flavor. I got a nice hug. But I'm just surprised. I expected it to be a more viscous mouthfeel. I don't know why, but I'm surprised by how watery it feels.
I get a lot of that mint on it. It's very minty.
I get a little bit of that on the finish, but I get some caramel apple and some and oak. That's the primary things I get on the palate.
Seems really young to me.
I was going to say that too.
Well, say it sooner next time, Dick. Don't steal my shit. I want to see if it has any sort of an age statement to it at all.
I looked a lot online. It said 4 years is what I saw.
Yeah, so it's labeled as Kentucky straight bourbon, so it's got to be at least 2 years. It's starting to sprinkle. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Can't hear
I'm
it.
under my umbrella, so it doesn't matter.
Can't hear it so far. Let us know how it is with a few drops of water, though. Tastes like acid rain. Tastes like medicine.
So, as much ethanol as there is on the nose, I don't get an alcohol burn on the palate or in the finish. I get a decent little hug. Like right now, my chest is still warm, even though it's been a couple minutes since I had a sip. But I don't feel like the flavors are that strong on the finish. Just the warmth.
No,
Yeah, I
I've
feel
had
like
to-
everything's sort of muted,
I've had to continuously take sips to talk about it because it goes away pretty quick. But again, it's not that there's not flavor there. It's just so fleeting.
Yeah.
And it's in a weird mouthfeel, but none of it's bad. It's just kind of weaker than you might expect. This is actually and I haven't had a ton of Daviess County things, but I expected to go into this one and say what I've said for the other ones or felt, which is they were perfectly proofed. And that's a Luxco thing I typically find is I always think that the stuff is like, oh, they hit like the sweet spot for like I wouldn't want this any stronger or weaker. I really like it where it's at. And this one I would kind of like if it was a little bit stronger, I think.
It's sort of like it's definitely not the best toasted barrel I've had. Nowhere close. But it is refreshing. Like it's easy to drink. It's a sipper. I like one I can sip on all night and not be wowed by or offended by. It's just, it's a good sipping whiskey.
Yeah, I think that this meets all of the definitions that you'll ever hear of. Wow, that's a smooth whiskey, right? Like it's very smooth. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much more because I want to let things mingle and see if my mouth picks up on stuff later on. But I will say that this cigar goes very well with it. That's a fact. And I figured it would, which is why I grabbed this one. But yeah, anyway. So Stephen, you're married.
Yep.
And you've been married for like going on 3 weeks now. Right?
Yeah, it's been a shocking situation. It's been
Are you
huge transition for me.
I mean, you went huge transition. You went from being single to being married, and you've only lived with her for like 7 years now.
Yeah.
You've only like you guys just bought a house together like 3 years ago. So what's this transition like? Like, are you coping with it?
So far so good. It is I'm taking it one day at a time. It's fine. Yeah, I mean it's the same shit to us, but it's good. It's to me it was time. It feels good to say she's my wife instead of saying like girlfriend or fiance and people not really understanding how serious it is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great shorthand for what the relationship has always been, in
Yeah.
my opinion. So
Okay.
yeah. And we love the wedding. The wedding went pretty much perfect as far as we're concerned.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, it was good. The weather held up. It was basically as best we could have asked for. We were like,
The whiskey was shit.
yeah,
but-
I didn't even have the whiskey. I just wanted to make sure there was some offered when I heard that they just started, and I was like, whatever, people will try it.
Yeah. I
there's
had some good wine cocktail. I forget what it was, but that was good.
their sangria is pretty good. That's what I was recommending people have.
That's what it was.
Then we had the ceremony. We got out of there. We headed to Jamaica for a week. And
So I've got to ask, this is probably the single most important question about your honeymoon. And it's not the one you think I'm going to ask. It's about, are the toilets the same in Wild Orchid as they are in St. James?
in terms of like the lack of privacy, is that what you're referencing?
Clear, like shitters here, then there's the shower, and the toilet literally looks straight out a glass door.
It's like a frosted glass door, but yeah, and I mean the bottom's open, so it's like a bathroom stall. It's like a public bathroom stall in there, more or less, with a glass front. So yeah, it's basically the same. Justy and I immediately we were prepared for this because of you and Rob Durham's book. Shout out Rob Durham. And we worked out a system to where one of us would just go on the balcony.
Yeah.
Because it's like we have an oceanfront view, just fucking hang out there. You know what I mean? The other person, it's not going to take them that long, God willing. And then, whatever, everything's fine after that. But the bigger issue, I think, other than that weirdness that we had a system for, was that it felt like the suction and just like the flushing was terrible on the toilet. Like,
oh, see, I don't remember that at all.
I had to do like repeated flushes throughout the shit just to have like the ability to use toilet paper as well.
Okay.
Like it was one of those like 2-stage flushes.
Uh-huh.
So we could never figure out which of the two actually was stronger than the other because they looked identical.
Yeah.
So it was like I would just kind of mix it up. But I mean, we made it through. The trip was good as a whole. And we had a lot of fun. I'll show you guys a bunch of pictures whenever we get those together. But and we haven't got the pictures back from the wedding yet. But there was one really unsettling part of the trip. One night randomly, like midnight, Jesse and I went to bed like pretty early every night because the resort kind of shuts down early unless you go to like the Breathless or whatever across the street, Dan, you might know.
Yeah.
And so, which was fine with us because we were waking up like fairly early to get the day started. So we're like dead asleep, and like midnight one night, we get a call on the room phone, and it only rings like once or twice, and then immediately there's a knock at our door. And this is like, maybe our like second full day there. It's like third night maybe. So it's just like really abrupt and out of nowhere. And I slowly get my ass up and go over to the door, and I look out the peephole. There's nobody there. So I don't fucking open the door. You know what I mean? I'm not a madman.
Yeah.
But then I go back to the phone and I call the front desk, and I'm like, and at first they just answer, they go, hello. Which is weird because I had called down previously and like they had much better customer service. So I was like, yeah, did you guys just call this room? And they were like, yes, that was an error. And I was like, okay, somebody knocked at the door at the same time as well. And they go, yeah, that was a mistake. Maintenance was coming and they were going to the wrong room. So I was like, okay, it was still
Somebody
kind of
owed
weird.
you.
Like something about the reaction was weird though. And it was like the timing of everything was just way too close. It was like, I get if you made that mistake, but so you sent the tech to the wrong place and you were calling the wrong number. It was just like a big fuck up in my opinion. And it was really unsettling. It was like not the biggest deal at the end of the day, and nothing ever happened again like that. But there's something about like that happening for a split second, you wake up and you're just like, where's the fucking embassy? You know what I mean? You're like, fuck that shit. Yeah, so that was pretty freaky. But I fell asleep pretty quick after. It didn't disrupt me too much. We snorkeled, so hat tip
How was
Dan
that?
for that tip. That was awesome.
Right there at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So,
looking at
Stephen,
the island.
since you just got back, and Annie and I are wanting to do something for our 10th anniversary, recommend going back? Are things still high level, high fun?
Yeah, I think everything, and there's so much to like do and see. The food is so good. The people are super nice. The drinks are good.
Well, do you think we should go ahead and rate this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll go first unless somebody else wants to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to give it a 6.3. It's fine. Like, this has become a trend for me saying it's fine. But truth be told, it's not overly flavorful. It doesn't have a lot of toasted characteristics to it. I think I definitely prefer the other Daviess County that we had, the double barreled. I don't know what I rated that, but I also prefer every single other Daviess County bottle offering that I've had over this. I expected it to be more flavorful, to have more to it. In the end, to me, this is just an easy to sip whiskey. And there's just not a whole lot to it. So that's where I'm at. And that's me. Who wants to go next?
I'll go because I got a pretty quick opinion, I think. I would mirror almost everything you said. I'm coming in at a 6.2. So we're right there with each other. I think that it's still a decent sipper, but I had much higher hopes for this one. So it's pretty disappointing to me. I was just telling Dan before the episode started how excited I was to try this one. And it's probably my least favorite toasted barrel offering I've ever had as well. And it just doesn't really have the characteristics or the marshmallowiness that you sometimes get with that, like s'mores-ish marshmallow, which is unfortunate because I think Basil Hayden's toasted. That I had a little thing of that whenever we were at one of the bars. I tried it in Kentucky, and that was a little better than this. So a disappointing one. There just wasn't enough on pretty much any aspect of it for me. So 6.2, but still a decent sipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go right in the middle of the sixes. I'll go 6.5. Easy sipper. It's refreshing. It's good. Something that won't offend you. You won't be wowed by it. Like I said earlier, I've had a lot of toasted barrels better than this one. It's definitely the lowest ranked toasted barrel that I have. It's not decadent really at all. Sort of reminds me, what was the one I provided that I'm blanking? The Hudson?
Yeah.
Bourbon that was toasted. It doesn't taste toasted at all. But I think one of them was, right? Or something.
What was the short stack, the maple one?
The maple, yeah, that's what it was. Like the maple syrup.
That was the weird one that I ended up really like a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be sweet and decadent. Same thing with this one. I thought it was going to be the same way, and it just really wasn't. It's okay. I probably wouldn't drink it again unless someone gave it to me as a gift. Tastes very young, as you said. I think they gave it a few more years. And it's just really light. It just looks light, right? And I think the taste kind of goes hand in hand with it not being aged as long as it should. So yeah, I'm gonna go 6.5.
I just think you can do a whole lot better for $59-$60. For $59-$60, you can do way, way, way better than this.
Another brother showing